Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by First Financial Bank. Another step on the path to success. By IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and energy costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. And by Nationwide. At Nationwide, we put members first. To find a local agent, visit Nationwide.com. Nationwide is on your side. Blue Jackets. Tonight we join you from Tampa Bay, where the Lightning play host to the Blue Jackets. Second and final meeting. Columbus a winner last time in here. A 3-1 victory with David Savard scoring the game-winning goal. Curtis McElhinney, 4-1 in his last 5. Gets the start again for the Jackets tonight in the absence of Sergei Bobrovsky. .921 save percentage, .241 goals against average in those last 5 starts. And Big Ben Bishop, 5th in wins of the National Hockey League. This is his 7th straight start. His 12th straight appearance. He stopped 29 against Detroit for his 25th win of the season Thursday night. Brad Meyer, Ian Walsh, the referees. Michel Cormier, Derek Amel, the linesman. Jackets wearing their road whites. Return home right after this one. And will take on the Arizona Coyotes at Nationwide on Tuesday night. As for the Lightning, as we mentioned, 9 straight victories. A franchise record here on home ice. They lead the National Hockey League in home wins with 20. And we're underway as Johansson wins the opening faceoff and Atkinson edges it off deep into the zone. Johnson and Johansson battle. Here comes Atkinson. Loose puck along the wall. Flip back to the point. And with Ryan Murray in the lineup tonight, Jack Johnson has a new defensive mate, and he moves to the other side. Jody, tell me, Jack Johnson moving from the left to the right side, much of a difference for a left-handed shooting defenseman?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. He's a left-handed playing defenseman. He's got that shot, and he's very good at it. He's a guy that can play on all sides. He's all over the ice anyways, so I think Todd was very comfortable moving on that side. And there, Ryan Murray, number 27, back in the lineup. Exciting night for him and his teammates in the organization. Big part of this last year, and good to have him back finally.
How about a team guy, Jack Johnson? He said this morning, I don't care, play left, right, wherever you want me to play, just let me know.
Nah, that's Jack Johnson. He's a consummate pro, and he's a guy that understands that that's going to happen from time to time. And I think he likes those challenges. I think guys that like to rise to the occasion and be challenged that way.
Trop and Hartnell break up an attempted rush there by the Lightning, and maybe an extra pass instead of a shot on goal there by Hartnell. Picked up by Dubinsky. Dubinsky dumping it in. Jackets had that 2-on-1 break, and Hartnell decided after Trop had the puck initially to toss it right back to that right wing.
I like the Columbus Blue Jackets are now quick shifts. It's only just over a minute into this, and this is the 3rd line out on the ice. Good tempo. They're controlling it right now.
Through and across the line. Barberio, the defenseman, moving up. He now retreats, paired here initially with Anton Stralman, who is pinching in. There's a long shot that sails high and wide of the net. Rolling off into the corner. Killorn on for Drouin. Jonathan Drouin, 4th in assists for rookies. This one tipped, and the stop by McElhinney, who tracked it down. Away goes Alexander Wenberg, who picked up his 2nd goal of the season in Florida in the first of the 2 games on this road trip. Camp behind the net, the former Blue Jacket Stralman. Stralman looks up the right wing there for Brian Boyle. The puck sails into the zone, and it's called on the icing by Tampa.
Watch his play here. Curtis McElhinney catches his puck up high. It's deflected down low from the point here. Watch this. It gets tipped, He's got to stay with it. Bounces off his pad. Now watch the Blue Jackets converge on this. That's Anisimov, Skilly, Wisniewski, and Wenberg all converge in front of the net. Clean that up and take it out. The Blue Jackets have got to keep doing that all night long. Keep the Lightning away from the rebounds.
Well, with Matt Calvert, a late scratch. Fell ill this afternoon. He is back at the team hotel. And that means that Craig Leopold is back in the lineup. And Leopold is going to play left wing, Jody. Been a while since he's been in the lineup, but to get in the lineup, he'll play anywhere.
Matt Jordan's been such a pro. He's waited for his time. He's been skating and working out every practice. And here he doesn't go in his regular position. Forward. He probably had a big smile on his face, which he usually does, but I'm sure to play forward, he's pretty excited.
Thrown back to the point. Witkowski, jersey number 53, sends it wide of the net. Playing his second NHL game and offside the call, which gives us an opportunity to check out tonight's Toyota Keys, presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Move north, and I don't mean on the map, I mean up the ice. Get the puck going towards the other end, especially when you get it in the defensive zone. Get out of there and take it north. On your toes. The Blue Jackets tonight can't come in here and wait for things to happen. They've got to be on their toes and ready to attack. Key number 3, tape to tape. You want to play fast, make sure the passes are on the tape, crisp, and move together up ice.
Murray off the wall. Sent ahead. Hedman dumps back into the zone. It's played there by Ryan Murray. Murray paired with David Savard. They played for a time together last year. And here's a clearing pass into the breakaway for Atkinson. Bishop makes the stop. The official lost sight of the puck and whistle played down. He was on the other side of the net. That breakaway pass by Savard, springing Atkinson into the clear.
I like that play by David Savard. He's kind of taking a risk because there's 2 defenders there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But he gets it through to Atkinson, who uses his speed, and there uses his strength to keep Hedman away from the puck.
And again, the referee blew that whistle, having not seen the puck. It was still loose. Right side, carried in by Atkinson with Foligno. Trailing is Johansson. Atkinson spins, turns, gets it ahead to Johansson. Cycling up high, drops it back below the goal line. Down low now, walking out is Foligno. He'll toss it back. Picked off there by Garrison. A clearing pass, and Murray will step up, but Kucherov is able to play it off the skate. Palat, left wing, throws it, attempted to get it to the front of the net. Strollman does, and the kick save there, the left pad of Curtis McElhinney.
Another good job by the defenders in front of McElhinney. The puck's in a little bit of a dangerous area. And Ryan Murray there just gets it on the stick and clears it to the corner. And that allows the Blue Jackets to get sorted, situated, get the puck and get it out.
Garrison steps to center. Left wing feed. Off a skate. Witkowski now. Right-handed shot. Dubinsky tracking the puck down. Hits Callahan, his former teammate with the Rangers. Walking off the wall there was Stamkos, can't make a play. Wisniewski defending there against Callahan, and a second forward. And a good hard hit there along the wall as the puck is cleared to center. Inside Tampa territory. Right wing feed. Filppula. Filppula for Hedman, who's joined the rush. On to Stamkos. Pulls the trigger, and it's deflected over top of the net. McElhinney was going one way. The puck deflected another, but it sailed high and wide. Off a skate, played there by Hedman. Filppula. Handed to Paquette. Paquette for Schuster. Paquette, jersey number 13, coming off a 3-goal performance. His first hat-trick in the National Hockey League in that win, 5-1 over Detroit here Thursday.
Yeah, just a young player starting his career. Nice to get a hat-trick at home and a team win.
And you know what might have helped him, Jody? The fact that he just learned here in the last week or so that Steve Yzerman, after a month or 2 in the hotel, get yourself an apartment.
Yeah, that's a nice feeling for a young hockey player to be able to move out of the hotel and officially be a part of the team.
He's got 4 goals in the last 2 games. Of course, the hat-trick, and he had scored in the previous game as well. Jack Johnson, nice pass ahead here for Letestu. Letestu and Jared Bull, trailing as Leopold, thrown in front. And some house cleaning there by the forward Boyle. Boyle and Strowman signing as free agents. Here at center, Murray steps up on Brendan Morrow. Morrow now finishing a check as Murray calmly dishes right side for Savard, off the wall for Leopold, thrown into the zone. Bishop out to play it. Fast start to this hockey game.
Yeah, how about this line with Jared Boll, Letestu, and Leopold? You kind of feel Jared Boll can just kind of let loose and do whatever in the offensive zone because not only a defensive forward, but a defenseman playing forward in Leopold. So Letestu's got reliability, and Leopold's got that sense of staying back. So
good thought.
Jared Boll should just let it all hang out here.
Well, you know he'd like to get on the score sheet. We've talked about that for some time. Boll prepared to make any kind of contribution, but for his own good, he'd like to see him get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no question.
Kucherov, off the wall, Palat. Foligno steps into him. The puck sails on the backhand, deep into the zone. Gathered up quickly by Connaughton onto James Wisniewski. Kucherov pressures. Wisniewski flips it out to the offensive blue line. Tripping and falling there was Foligno. Continuous action here in this opening period in Tampa. We know about this quick transition. As Todd Richards said, one of the fastest skating teams in the National Hockey League. Jackets, Connaughton, Hartnell. Johansson will step off. On come fresh legs in the name of Dubinsky. Shot from the point. Rebound left in front. Trying to tuck it home there was Corey Trapp. Trapp in the last couple of games has really stepped up.
He seems to fit in really well with Hartnell Dubinsky, no question. Earned his ice time on the fourth line a couple games ago, and then last game gets promoted with these two guys. He seems to be a good fit. He's got some good hustle in his legs tonight.
Here comes Filppula, poke checked away by Jack Johnson on to Feder Tootin. You know what? You're right. Jack Johnson looks comfortable wherever he plays. Well, here's a look at the head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, John Cooper, and I think this is the ultimate form of, saying something positive about the opposition and it not necessarily being said to patronize. John Cooper is saying this morning, Jody, that it is painful to play against the Blue Jackets, and I say that in the most respectful way. What he was saying, bottom line, is the Blue Jackets are exceptionally hard to play against.
Yeah, and you got to love that. That's nothing but a compliment from the head coach. And that's what you want out of your team. You want them to come in and take a bite out of the team that they're playing against. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, they do that. And they've got the reputation for doing that. And I think they've done that so far in this start. They've been relentless and on the puck here to start the first 5 minutes.
He even pointed out the first meeting, of course, it was at Nationwide in November. And you remember, the Lightning stormed to a 4-0 lead. But as he said, we couldn't necessarily put that game away. And it was a credit to the Jackets. And despite a tough loss, we're going to get a penalty here. He has the utmost respect for the Blue Jackets. So, a power play for Tampa when we come back.
No score here in Tampa. The Blue Jackets are going on a penalty kill right now, and I think they've had a good start. And if you watch what they're doing, they're defending in front of Curtis McElhinney as a group, as a unit, cleaning up the loose pucks. Look at this. All four guys right there to converge on that. No play here by Ryan Murray. Get the puck out of trouble. Foligno there scoops it up. And how about this one? Look at the four white jerseys back in front of the net. Manage the puck. Hartnell's there to intercept the pass. Gets to the line and makes a good decision. Need more of that mindset on the penalty kill.
Jack Johnson is off. The power play of the Lightning in fourth, 16th in the league at 18.4%. Jackets 20th, just over 80% on the kill, giving up 34 power play goals and 172 manpower advantages. So here's Strowman.
Just watch a little exchange there. Ryan Johansson is out to take the face-off in the defensive zone. Does it, gets the puck out. Then he goes off and Wenberg comes out. Wenberg has really earned the trust of Todd Richards on the penalty kill.
At the line, nice play there by Wenberg with a steal. No sooner said than done. Short-handed shot off the inside of the goal post. He had Bishop beat. And Dubinsky sent it right off the iron.
What a play. Wenberg, nice, nifty little backhand pass to Dubinsky, who didn't really expect it. And there it was right in his feet. Collected it, but you said it, beat Wenberg, or beat the goaltender, Bishop, but couldn't beat the post.
Well, even the Fox box thought the puck had found the back of the net. Or at least across the goal line because it put up 1-0 Blue Jackets. But here, Wenberg, a smart play.
Yeah, jumped on that puck, and look at this. Actually put it right on his stick with that backhand pass. Look at this. I thought he hit him in the skates. Right on his stick. Dubinsky. Nice little play. Good feeler for the Columbus Blue Jackets to start this game.
Well, you talk to the coaching staff of the Blue Jackets, Jody, and you talk to management, everybody in agreement. Yes, Wenberg's had a slow start to his NHL career, but they feel that he is so smart defensively, the offense will come.
Hey, there's a lot of young guys, you got to teach them defense first. You're not concerned about the points. It's teaching that defensive awareness, that defensive thinking, and this kid is, every game we see him out there, he's in the right position, he's making smart decisions. You saw on that steal and not only the offensive zone pass. He's got those two. We know he's got those skills in the offensive zone.
Backhanded. Looking for Foligno. Power play in the waning seconds here. Down to 5. Jack Johnson standing at the penalty bench. 1, and he steps out. No shots on the power play. Jackets won't be credited with one because it hit the goalpost. Nonetheless, certainly the best scoring opportunity.
Yeah, no question.
Drouin right in on Savard. David Savard turning away from the Tampa impressive rookie, Jonathan Drouin.
Well, the Jackets are making a lot of heads-up plays here with the puck. Saw Hartnell with that cross-ice pass.
Murray lets one fly that sails wide of the net. Hartnell dishes off into the corner. Hedman is there. Trop able to steal it. Jackets appear to be a half a step ahead here at Tampa.
You know what? They're skating hard, and you can tell that they've got Tampa Bay right now on their heels.
Savard beat Drouin in the corner. They're winning those battles. And now Wenberg on to Anisimov in full flight. Look at Anisimov. Ridden off on the play there by Stralman. Wenberg able to fish that puck free. Played here by Witkowski. Stralman comes up with it. Fights off the check. Gets to the head here for Boyle. At the Jackets line, Wisniewski turns and sends it back down the ice. And sending it the rest of the way was Wenberg, and he'll get a well-deserved rest.
Yeah, even that was a smart decision. He's late in the shift. The puck is coming towards him at the far blue line. Uses his backhand, gets it in the zone, and gets off the ice.
Skilly dumps. Played by Bishop. Sent around into the corner there for Stralman. At the point, Wisniewski knocks it down, looking for Foligno. Stralman, pressure there by Atkinson. Loose puck played by Callahan. A clearing pass on the backhand, and Stamkos can't get anywhere. Right side for Callahan. Played in the corner. Callahan with a good hard hit there on Wisniewski, much to the delight of the crowd. Foligno flips it ahead looking for Atkinson. Played by Garrison, rimmed around the board. Jack Johnson steps up, tosses it behind the net. Foligno is there. Johansson looking for some open ice. Foligno walks out of the corner. Jack Johnson now, long shot, getting a stick on it, but sending it wide. There was Atkinson. Filppula. On for Garrison. Right side, Callahan. A clearing pass to center. Filppula. First across the line. Barbario's joined the rush, and it's turned aside there by McElhaney. Bouncing puck in the corner. Thrown to the right point for Schuster. Lets one fly. A stick save. Now Foligno off the wall. Schuster sends it in, and Kucherov will make the play.
Columbus still doing a very good job with their line changes. They're keeping the shift short, and that allows them to have fresh guys out there a lot more often than the Tampa Bay guys are right now.
Savard circling the net. Looks for Corey Trop, who's tripped up there by Hedman. Played by Bishop, and Schuster back to make the play. 5-4 of the shots here in this freewheeling opening period of play. Glad you've joined us here on Saturday night. Jackets, as we mentioned, Arizona's Coyotes will make their one and only appearance Tuesday night. A centering feed. Wenberg on for Anisimov. Artem Anisimov in front of the Tampa bench will backhand it ahead. Wenberg in pursuit. Victor Hedman. Long stretch pass for Drouin, and it's off his stick and out of play. Well, 6:09 left opening period. No score. The Blue Jackets and the Lightning. Well, as we got to look at Ryan Murray, it's only fitting we take a look to the Elk injury report. Reduced by 1, albeit Matt Calvert is out ill tonight. Take a look, Jody. We've now hit that 300 plateau and man games lost.
Yeah, Ryan Murray's been out since November 1st. Yeah, Matt Calvert with his illness, but it's good to get him back. Ryan Murray back out there, and hopefully we'll get some more guys off that list back soon.
Gotta wonder. I'm sure we'll get an update when we get home on Boone Jenner. No Boone's tuned in tonight. Boone, we miss you. As does your fan club that has grown in great numbers. Sergei Bobrovsky back home watching. We wish him a speedy recovery. A big integral part of this hockey club.
Yeah, it's nothing worse than watching your team play. You want to be out there with your sleeves rolled up, helping out in all situations. So these guys are motivated to get back, but some of these guys have no choice but to sit and wait and heal.
Before the Jackets hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Jack Johnson very vocal with his teammates. You can see him on every situation. He's lining up against the wall here now, which isn't, I mean, it's not a big deal. I think Jack Johnson, he can make plays on his backhand. So it's not a big deal, and it sets up well for him in the offensive zone to play that off defensive position. He's used to playing the left side, and I'll tell you what, we've seen him all over the ice already tonight.
Look at Johansson, sprint into the zone, fights off the check, circles the net, tries to throw it in front. It's knocked down there by Palat, and away goes Kucherov with Johnson. In the slot, but knocked away, alertly so by the Jackets. Cruising there was Palat. Now a pass here for Atkinson, right-handed shot on the left side. Johansson. Stopped there by Stralman.
Stralman read that very well. Johansson went to the far side of the back of the net to try to drag the defenders on the other way. Dropped the puck back, but Stralman didn't bite.
Foligno threw it in front. Dubinsky had an opportunity there. And the Lightning will dump in. That's Johnson. Far side, Savard. Cannot clear the zone. Ryan Murray is there. Takes a hit, but makes the play off into the corner. Dubinsky trying to knock down Filppula. Fights off the check. Callahan in front. Jackets have done a terrific job defensively here tonight. They have blocked 4 shots. Tampa has 1 block, and we are down to less than 5 minutes left in this opening period. Bishop steers ahead. Filppula pressured by Hartnell. On to Schuster. Filppula in full stride. He's got Stamkos on the right wing. Stamkos back to Filppula. Back to Stamkos, and he fans on it. And away goes Hartnell, left wing. He's got Anisimov with him. The pass to Anisimov off his stick. Does not give up on it. Barberio defends. Chipped ahead for Stamkos. Stamkos 1-on-2. Waits for reinforcements off the bench. A drop pass there for Drouin fails. He must have heard Drouin behind him, but the pass just a little off the mark. Neutral zone play here. Wenberg dumps in. Far side of the ice, that's Hedman. Hedman looking for Drouin. Tootin hands the puck to Connauton, and Connauton dumps it the length of the ice. That's icing.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide, the official sponsor of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Columbus doing a great job, Jeff, of supporting the puck, skating for this first period, and converging in the middle of the ice in the defensive zone. Tampa's trying to make some cross-ice passes, some neat little plays from behind the net, but the Blue Jackets doing a good job of breaking that stuff up.
Barberio dishes into the near corner. Johnson fought off there by Tootin. Picked up by Connauton. Jack Johnson wanting to come on. Connauton will step off. And now paired up here with Tootin. Forwards change up on the fly as the Lightning move into Jackets territory. A stick save there by McElhinney. Rebound left in front. Picked off there by Schuster. Schuster with a backhand. That ricochets off a leg and wide. Palat. That too goes off the back of Tootin. Johnson drops it back Barberio. And it's off the mark as it ricochets off a stick.
That was Cam Atkinson standing in the shot lane. Good job by him giving away that shot.
Good work here by Foligno as he sprints into the zone. Bishop will steer to the corner. Atkinson is right on it. Johansson finishing a check. These 2 games since the All-Star break, Johansson seems a little more motivated.
He just seems so confident. I think that with him and Foligno, the chemistry with them, the confidence coming out of that All-Star weekend, and they're just, you know, getting some good bounces. It just seems like things are going their way, and they're going to ride that out as long as they can.
You got to like their body language, and in particular Johansson, who has stepped up.
We're scoreless here in Tampa. Craig Hartsburg, we talk all the time about your team being engaged. They appear to be very engaged in this one tonight, much like the last time they played in this building.
Yeah, I think it's much like last game in Florida, too. Our first period, we had great pace. We moved the puck well. Tonight, we just got to make sure we're doing it for 60 minutes.
You're moving Jordan Leopold up on the front line there. How does that impact the way you roll your lines, moving a defenseman to the wing?
Well, Leo's a veteran defenseman, but he's a really smart player. He's jumped in and has done a real good job for us.
That's a nice thing to have, a veteran guy that can think the game like Leopold and fit into that position on the wing. Now, this is a late scratch for Calvert. He was supposed to be in the lineup today. Todd Richards has 3 extra defensemen, so he pulls Leopold, and it seems like he's doing a good job out there.
And then factor in the fact that he hasn't played in, well over a month.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Dubinsky deals it off into the corner. Got to like what Craig Hartsburg told Dave Metzold, the fact that they want to do it for 60 minutes. That was the problem in Florida. They dominated that first period, forcing turnover after turnover. And although they failed to score, were even in that second period, and the Panthers kind of took the game away in the third.
Yeah, and that's a desperate team. They'd lost 5 in a row in Florida. And how about these Lightning? So hot at home. You've got to play 60 minutes against this team, and this is a great opportunity by the Blue Jackets. Little traffic in front. Corey Trop in there. Look at that. The puck is laying there. Quick whistle there a couple times for the Blue Jackets. Maybe the referee should try to stand on the other side, because that's twice on the opposite side. He didn't pick it up.
Dubinsky certainly letting them know. Circling the net. Garrison throws it up the left wing. Cross ice pass there. Boyle walking in and offside the call. 56.6 seconds remaining in the first period. Shots are even at 7. No score here in this fast-moving opening period of play.
Brian Boyle, 6'6", young man who went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year with the New York Rangers, and then was one of the big pickups here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's a fourth-line guy who wins a lot of his face-offs, asserts himself on the penalty kill, and a nice addition for this Lightning team. He ran into Jared Boulder a few shifts ago and ended up on his back. I saw a shiner on Brian Boyle. He is willing to go, but I don't know if he'll fight Bowl unless he has to.
Wisniewski on for Connaughton, pressured by Connolly at center. Witkowski steps up, dumps it in. It's played there by James Wisniewski. Wisniewski taking a hit there from Morrow. Chopped wide of the net, thrown in front, and Connolly converts. You don't like giving up a last-minute goal, but the centering pass to Connolly, yet another first-round pick of these Lightning, and he is able to send it by McElhinney. It's 1-0 Tampa.
Well, the play at the line by Garrison is really the story here. James Wisniewski tries to flip it up off the glass. And watch this. Garrison keeps it in, and that is bang, bang. And Connolly finds himself alone in front. He makes no mistake there, but that's just a clearing attempt that Garrison gets his hand on, keeps it in, and really the only good opportunity that Tampa's had.
Yeah, the Jackets had outchanced them up until that moment, 5-3. Connolly with his 9th, slow to develop, but he's found a spot on this hockey team here now, and he gets the Lightning on the board at 19:36. There's the horn to end the opening period. A one-shot advantage. That was the last shot that found its way to the back of the Jackets' net. And one goal for the Lightning after one period. Tampa leading the visiting Blue Jackets 1-0. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Huntington Bank. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at BlueJacketsBanking.com. And by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. All but set for second period play. Lightning score in the final minute and lead 1-0.
Young man playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Our second game in the National Hockey League, Luke Witkowski. Played 1 year in Columbus, Ohio for the Ohio Junior Blue Jackets, who were part of the USHL, which was ran by the Columbus Blue Jackets, coached by Dan Fritchie's uncle John, and the general manager was Don Harkins, the older brother Brett Harkins. This kid's living in, billeted in Dublin, Ohio with the Shearer family, went to Dublin Kaufman, and just beaming to be a part of this Tampa Bay Lightning organization. Got called up before the All-Star break. Stevie Yzerman made the decision to let him stay here for the break, and he is grateful and just excited to be a part of this. I mentioned today, Luke, when did you know you were going to be able to play in the NHL? He said, not until I played my first game. He's excited. A little hometown part of Ohio there.
Nice story. But when you went up to him and said, nice to meet you, didn't he say he already met you?
Yeah, that kind of threw me off. I said, okay. He said, yeah, I played for the Junior Jackets, met you in passing when you were playing for the
Senior Jackets.
Senior Jackets, that's right.
That's the first time you've ever been called a senior in your life?
No, I don't think so.
Back at the point, Jack Johnson. Foligno backhands it in front. Oh, it just went off the side of the net. Bishop had pulled off the near side. Palat. Puck sent into the zone, and it'll be played there by McElhaney, who will wisely hang on.
Luke Witkowski, too. He also went on from Columbus to play in Fargo. For Dean Blaze was the head coach, another guy that had some time in Columbus.
Yes.
And he spent 4 years at Western Michigan, got his degree there. Finds himself in the National Hockey League. Through Columbus and that short stint with that USHL team that was there.
There he is there, pulling the trigger. The Jackets blocked the shot. Broken stick of Corey Tropp. Handed to Murray up the left wing boards, and Wenberg sends it off the wall. The zone is cleared. Savard bounces one back in.
That was a neat little play by Corey Tropp. Didn't have a stick. Didn't panic. Got his head up and used his feet to make that pass to the middle.
Filppula turned around on the play. Loose puck. Stamkos. Dubinsky finishing the check. Ryan Murray slipped and fell. Tropp wins the board battle here. Can't clear. Filppula scoops up the loose puck. Drops it back. And it's rifled wide of the net on the deflection.
Corey Tropp has lost his stick again. Now he's in the middle of the ice with no stick. There he goes down to block a shot.
Jackets Savard on to Dubinsky. Dubinsky, right wing feed. Racing after it, Skilly. Bishop will send it off the wall. Stamkos waits, drops it back. Thrown ahead here for Filppula. Filppula, right wing pass Drouin. Lightning change up on the fly. Good work there by Anisimov to strip Drouin of the puck. Collision behind the Jackets net. Drouin beats two Jackets there. Barberio, Schuster, backhanded ahead. Anisimov waits on that far side. This is Killorn. Sends one in front. Paquette can't send it home and takes a high stick there and goes down quickly.
Couple nice defensive plays by the young Alex Wenberg. In the support position in the defensive zone. See the linesman there. He comes in to see if he's cut. Crowd's reacting as they see the high stick replayed on the big screen here. First, McElhaney just looking for a little help there. He's down on his belly. He's got 5 of his guys around as Paquette was whacking at the puck.
From the faceoff. Shot sent wide off the stick of Boyle. Penalty upcoming here to the Jackets for interference. And this will give Tampa the second power play of the night.
But that was right in front of the net. James Wisniewski just battling for position with Brendan Morrow. Morrow ends up going down. Referee only about 20 feet away makes the call. It's right in front of the goaltender here. Way down the top of your screen almost. There's Wisniewski with the white stick. He gets it in between there. Morrow goes down pretty easily. The veteran play by him. It costs Wisniewski and the Blue Jackets 2 minutes.
Lightning 0 for 1. They did not register a shot on goal. The Jackets got an odd man break shorthanded. And Wisniewski threw it off the post. In front, Letestu behind the defense. And stacking the pads and making the stop is Bishop. So on successive penalty kills, the Jackets get quality scoring chances.
Nice play by Ryan Johansson to get that puck, use his reach, and get it around the defenseman in a perfect spot for Letestu.
At the other end, Strowman. Picked up here by Drouin. Drouin showing patience, drops to Stamkos. Strowman, far side. Filppula. Drouin, back for Filppula. Callahan battles in front. Wenberg draped all over him. Drouin knocked down and then thrown down in succession by Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson taking away the passing lane and then being physical.
Up high, this is Strowman. On to Stamkos, right-handed shot on the left point. Flips it back into Strowman. Strowman moving in. Filppula. Stamkos denied.
You saw that puck go across the zone through the players of the Blue Jackets, and Stamkos wastes no time with that quick release. Just missed his spot there, as he's not very happy with that shot he just took, but lucky with the Blue Jackets.
Moving up ice. Johnson drills it wide. Connolly, who had the goal late in that opening period, battles along the boards. Down to 24 seconds. This one stick to side by McElhaney. Curtis McElhaney. Kucherov drops it for Johnson. Settled down. On here to Kucherov. One-timer by Garrison. Fanned on it. Atkinson unable to clear. 5 seconds left. And the Wisniewski penalty. Anisimov along the wall. Chips it ahead. Walking it out of the zone is Atkinson. Jackets. Wisniewski out of the penalty box. 2 shots. 0 for 2. And Wisniewski sends one off the pads of Bishop.
Tampa here, they only play 1 defenseman on the power play, and that's why the Blue Jackets have taken advantage of their offensive mind. And when you have 2 defensemen back there, it's a little safer, but 2 odd man rushes by the Columbus Blue Jackets on 2 successive power plays, and with an opportunity here with Tampa finally gets their second defenseman out, but you'd like to see them hem them in there with just that 1 guy out there.
Killorn pulls up. Steps away from Foligno. Connaughton defending. Thrown to the side of the net. Killorn gets it right back. Walking out Paquette. Quick shot there by Hedman. Drilled wide. Drouin. Killorn. Paquette. Walks to the front of the net. 4 goals in his last 2 games. Witkowski keeps it in. Tossed behind the net. Pressure here along the near boards. Killorn drops it. Leopold moves it up the wall and out. Leopold given an opportunity to play here. A shift on the blue line, what with James Wisniewski having sat in the penalty box. Jackets, Dubinsky. Moving ahead, fires a shot. Bishop's got it. Right up inside the blocker, and he holds on.
Brandon Dubinsky there takes a little peek as he gets his puck. Nice turnover at the blue line. Desperation play there. Watch Dubinsky. Saw him peek. He knows he's got someone there, but he says, I want to get this puck on net, see if I can create a rebound opportunity. But good job by Bishop. You mentioned that puck in the blocker, inside the blocker glove of Bishop.
Don't see that too often. Oh, Murray, Trop behind the net, looking to walk out. Trop held up. There is Stamkos on to Filppula with Callahan. The three crossed the line. Schuster there, battling along the wall with Dubinsky, who's able to clear. Stamkos was there to pick it off, offside the call. Ben Bishop with a big stop here. And a short-handed effort by the Jackets. Letestu, and there's Bishop stacking the pad.
Lots of loyal Jackets fans here in Florida as the Jackets trail the Lightning right now 1-0. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. Check out how Kent State's legacy in the Super Bowl is being continued this year. Read how the Jackets' injuries may be a blessing in disguise for some younger players. And see what's going on at Ignition APG in Mason, Ohio, while the Patriots and Seahawks prepare for the Super Bowl. Complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports brought to you by 1-800-SAFEAUTO.com.
Play underway in Columbus territory, and we get an icing call, which will enable us to remind you to enjoy a cold one. And look forward to Miller time later in tonight's contest. It's brought to you by Miller Lite.
There's Jonathan Drouin. He was in Columbus for the All-Star Weekend. Young gun. Missed training camp here. Injured his thumb. Missed all of camp and got sent down for a conditioning stint. Only lasted 2 games. And came back, and he's been with the Tampa Bay Lightning since. Good young player. Lots of high-end skill.
Anisimov. Up on that left wing for Jack Johnson, who's joined the rush. Johnson into Tampa territory. Skilling takes the puck and deals it back here to Fedor Tyutin. Tyutin wrists it wide of the net. Defending there was Paquette. Barberio, right wing for Drouin. Jackets hustled to it to keep it in the zone. Good work there by Skilling.
Fan cam it is.
That was
Schuster.
a good shift there by Jack Skilly. Nice play cross ice to the defense for that opportunity. They couldn't get the puck to the net, but offensive zone time.
Palat, left wing feed Kucherov. Trying to pull the trigger. Wazowski got enough of it to deflect it wide of the net. Played off that backboard. Thrown to the point. Hedman fans on the attempted shot and then steers it back into the corner. Sent in front. Alertly so, but perhaps the most alert of them all was McElhaney to recover the direct by Johnson in front.
All right, the Blue Jackets don't want to give good teams opportunities they don't earn, but they also want to take advantage of their own opportunities. We've seen a couple posts. Curtis McElhaney here with a nice save. That's an in-tight play by Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Backhanded by Trop. Hartnell. Dubinsky back for Hartnell, and the puck was gloved ahead, so play whistled down.
Jackets fans, come out and join us at the Three-Legged Mare this Tuesday for the Blue Jackets Fan Cam. It's a chance to answer Blue Jackets trivia questions, win great prizes, and you could appear on an upcoming edition of Blue Jackets Live. See you at Three-Legged Mare this Tuesday night at 6.
That was a glove hand pass. Hartnell tried to corral it, put it down to his stick. He couldn't get it up front. And as Dubinsky picked it up, that would have been a nice little 2-on-1 break.
David Savard, cross ice. Murray ahead for Leopold, gets caught up in his skates. Stepping up there now is Boyle. Onto the right wing, dumped in Barberio. Deep in the zone, the Tampa defenseman retreats to the left point. Loose puck, Bowl finishing a check and then takes what may be an elbow. He is down.
He grabbed his face right away there as he ran into Boyle. Keep an eye on him. He's in the defensive position there. Right in the middle of the screen.
Battle along the wall. That's Letestu. On for Jared Bull. Barberio defends. Bull sends it off the wall. Hustles after it. Plays it behind the net as he beats Barberio to the puck. Loose and played there by Letestu. Looking to cycle out there Foligno. At his pocket pick that's moved by the Lightning up and out to center. Connolly keeping it away from Letestu. Tyutin on to Jack Johnson. Johnson, right wing feed for Foligno, who steers it in deep. Ben Bishop out of the net to play it. The big netminder Deals for Barberio, who blindly passes it in front. Johansson attempted to get to it. Palat along the boards. Palat looking for Boyle. Jack Johnson steps up, but the puck skirts free and all the way back into Jackets territory. Johansson, right wing to center. The Jackets centerman steps in. Cooley away from Kucherov, dumps it behind the net. Bishop is there. Boy, Bishop likes to move. Likes to move that puck.
Yeah, that wasn't an optimal time to get out, but he made a confident play with that behind the net.
Connaughton now sends Atkinson away. Wisniewski and Johansson joining the rush. Atkinson hangs on, shows patience, circles the net. The net is empty. Bishop just now getting to his feet, and the Jackets unable to pull the trigger.
Well, it looked like Wisniewski might have got a shot off. He's standing at the back post. And here it is. Nice play off ice. Good speed by Cam Atkinson. You mentioned patience. Wow. He's done this before where guys are laying down all around. There's Wisniewski. It looks like Kucherov might be the guy that makes the save on this. There goes Bishop. He's out of the play. Nice little pass.
Oh, yeah. Kucherov got his skate on it.
Was that a Kucherov or the defenseman down?
I thought it was Kucherov who was standing right there at the side of the net. We just mentioned how Bishop was wandering from his net trying to play those pucks. He might think twice about that, and the Jackets have got to be aware that he does not mind going out and playing those pucks if they can continue to hustle as they have.
Maybe they've identified that. Get on that. Get on him. But the ideal play is when you put the puck deep, keep it away from the goalie, and it's so hard to do when you're skating. And you see Ben Bishop very confident in getting out of the net and making those plays.
Jackets, and we've heard all night long about the transition game of this Lightning Hockey Club. That the Jackets have 3 odd man rushes here tonight. So credit the Jackets with some quick play there. And they knew that this Lightning Club, one of the fastest skating teams in the league as they move up ice, and that's Filppula with Stamkos. Trailing is Callahan. Shot from the point. Just deflected wide. Callahan threw it right back in front, but it's off the pad there of McElhinney. Corey Tropp up the left wing boards and out for Hartnell. Dubinsky races to the front. Drop pass Savard. Floats one through traffic. Bishop was, they're going to say, interfered with by Corey Tropp. And he certainly worked that, did Big Ben Bishop. But the Jackets are going to be man short for the 3rd time. Hartnell having some words with Bishop now. Oh, my. He sold it.
It's trail 1-0. They're going back on the penalty kill. Brad Larson, just it's a matter of closing, it seems like. So many good opportunities so far in this period.
Yeah, you know, we're playing well. We just a little bit of penalty trouble. We got to get through this one here and keep doing what we're doing.
A couple of kills already tonight. What's the key to success to hold this power play at bay?
Well, every time we get a chance to clear, we got to clear. 200 feet. It's got to get down, make them break out the puck every time. You know, you give them second chances, they get real dangerous.
Second chances. And the Jackets have done a very good job in front of the goaltender tonight.
All right, Lightning on the power play for the 3rd time. They're 0 for 2 with 2 shots, both coming on the previous power play. Jackets, incidentally, on each of the first 2 Tampa power plays have had a pretty good opportunity scoring-wise offensively, and maybe the best scoring chance of all.
Well, the forwards are identifying that there's only one defenseman, and the other forward that's playing that defensive position is very aggressive.
Here's a break. Callahan! No, I was about to say scores, but somehow McElhinney on that far post. We're on the near side, and that far side, he was able to get a piece of it.
Well, Callahan picks up an outlet pass, and he is all alone, free and clear. And look at this. He makes a beautiful move, but Curtis McElhinney
what a stop.
Makes the save, and the puck actually comes forward up to his glove. Watch this. Curtis bites on that move, but stays with it, and there's the puck. Ends up under his torso.
Kucherov dealt into the corner. Jackets chop it up and out. A little lobbying going on, albeit briefly by the Lightning, for delay of game penalty, none forthcoming. It was off a stick.
Yeah, what up Kucherov's stick there. Curtis McElhinney, what a save. We've seen a couple big opportunities by the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that last one, just tremendous second effort by Curtis.
He has played superbly. He has worked some more, and standing up now more than ever, and under control.
I love his confidence. You got to be so happy for the guy. Gets in there. The team, is playing better in front of him. We know that. But confidence to get in there, make the plays, hold the team in it. Now Columbus has got to take advantage of their opportunities, Jeff. I mentioned a few minutes ago. You're only going to get a few opportunities against the Tampa Bay Lightning. You've got to catch them in.
Garrison knocked down. And for the third straight power play, the Jackets have done a terrific job on the PK. Now less than 30 seconds remain, and the crowd here starting to get on the Lightning here for their inability to really do much on the power play. Callahan. Off the wall, Wenberg sends it between the two players on the line and dump right back in where Bishop will quickly hand it here to Stamkos. 4 seconds left. Turned over. And Johansson gets an opportunity. Bishop had to be sharp there.
Sharp. How about Mark Letestu? Talk about sharp. Not only picks it off, but then he finds his partner, Ryan. Look at this. Johansson on the chase. Letestu picks it up and immediately puts it right on the tape of Ryan Johansson. Tape-to-tape pass.
Hedman. Jackets are back at full strength. 3 for 3 on the kill. Foligno fires from a sharp angle. Bishop hugging that far post, able to turn it aside. Now Connaughton looking. Ryan Johansson. Foligno. Dishes to Johansson. Cross ice Wisniewski. Turns, fires, stick save Bishop. In front, Johansson. Penalty going to be called there as Atkinson was knocked down. And for the first time tonight, the Jackets will go to the power play as Atkinson was knocked to the ice. Johansson in the corner looking to feed his right winger. And a hooking penalty here will give the Jackets the power play.
And how about the quickness of Cam Atkinson? And Ryan Johansson mentioned this a few games ago. Playing with Cam, when he's at his best, he's spinning, protecting the puck. And you look at this quickness. Gets out of there, gets the puck. Ryan Johansson knows what he's going to do. Cam Atkinson gets off the wall then. And there he gets pulled down by Schuster. Schuster, by the way, goes at 6'8". Cam is what, 5'11"?
David and Goliath.
Good job, Cam Atkinson, there with that play to draw the penalty. And that was a good sequence all the way around, starting with that Letestu turnover.
Jackets 5th on the power play at 23.3%. 14th on the kill are the Lightning at 82%. But they are number 1 on the penalty kill at home. 89, almost 90%, 89.3. They've only given up 8 power play goals all season long here on home ice. And that's in 25 games.
Oh, that's really impressive.
Dubinsky, Connaughton, right off the mask, rebound. Bishop had the presence of mind to cover up the puck, but the initial shot went right off the mask.
Good confident puck movement by the Columbus Blue Jackets as they push back the Tampa Bay Lightning. Here it is, changing the angle there in the middle by Savard. And look where Connaughton is on the left side of your screen. He's the one that gets the puck. He's the defenseman, offensive defenseman at the dot. With 4 black jerseys, almost all in the blue paint there, along with the goaltender, Ben Bishop.
Power play time, minute 17. Johansson, Atkinson, Foligno up front. Wisniewski and Jack Johnson are on the points. From the draw, Hedman circles his net. Atkinson pursues. Hedman looking for the handle. It's cleared by Barberio. And out to make the play, McElhaney, where he leaves it there for Jack Johnson. Johnson hustles up to center. Drop pass. Here comes Johansson. Weaves his way through. Fires it off the chest of Bishop. In front. Pad save Bishop. He is one big goaltender. And there able to cover up the entire net and get that left pad on it.
Wow, 2 big saves.
A third attempt there by the Jackets, and Bishop with the glove stop. And some exception coming there from Tampa with the extra attempt. But Bishop has to be sharp here on the Jackets' first and only power play.
And Ryan Johansson starts this off with a nice move and a quick decision to get it off Bishop. Watch Wisniewski here. Nice pass right away to the middle of the ice. Watch his pass by James Wisniewski. Heads up, rolling puck. Finds Atkinson in the middle of the ice. Good hard shot, but as you mentioned, Ben Bishop, when he's on his knees, he's still probably 5'5".
Chances in this hockey game to this point in time, the Jackets out-chancing and actually doubling the chances of Tampa Bay, 16-8. Bishop has certainly, pardon the pun, but stood tall. Picked up there. Paquette taking it from Boyle. Throws it in front. Knocked down there. Jack Johnson on to Johansson. 5 seconds left of the Schuster penalty. He is standing at the penalty bench and almost taller than the glass that he stands behind. Here in the slot, Nick Foligno. Up high. Jackets 6 shots on that power play. 6. Driven there by Wisniewski. Bishop makes the stop. I had no idea where it is. Jackets out shooting the Lightning now, 21-17. Wisniewski floats one in. That ricochets off a stick and wide. Boyle out to center. Wisniewski. Right wing for David Savard.
Columbus back, skating. Good passes, great decisions.
Wenberg with a little wraparound attempt that Bishop will cover up. 4:22 left in the second. It is 1-0 Tampa. Well, look at the goaltenders who have certainly done their job here tonight. McElhinney on the left for the Jackets, turning aside 16 of 17 shots and 23 saves for Ben Bishop. Here's with the Ohio Health great save.
Yeah, Curtis McElhinney. Great save here. Save of the night for him. Watch the overhead here. Gets that pad out off the toe. That's got to feel good when that puck comes back to you like that. They can cover it up.
From the draw, one by Dubinsky, handed to Savard at the right point. Dubinsky gets it back, walks out from the goal line. Savard fires his shot. It's blocked by Killorn. 3-on-2. Filppula, Killorn, and Callahan. Killorn replacing Stamkos. And the Jackets called.
Hey, Wolves fans, make sure you grab your 50/50 Lightning Foundation tickets.
Of a lifetime. Yesterday and tomorrow sit side by side. It's the Daytona 500 this February 22nd. Tickets on sale now at Daytona500.com.
And there's Todd Richards. Got to be happy with his guys so far. Skating, forechecking. Good indication for him of where his team's head's at, and so far they've done a good job. Really good push here in the second period.
Tossed into the corner. Schuster. That last shift was without Stamkos. And he just maybe now coming back. Handed here to Schuster. Schuster. Thrown to the point. Broken stick there. Barberio. And it's tipped by Connolly over top of the net. He is the lone goal scorer in this hockey game. 3:15 left. Wenberg, Tootin, Dauphin, Drouin, Paquette, Kucherov up front for Tampa. Jackets will clear it out. Picked up there by Schuster. Wenberg spun around. Puck played here by Jack Johnson.
See that broken stick? That's a Nisimov stick. And when Wenberg and Tootin had the puck sealed against the far wall behind McElhinney, Anisimov quickly went and got a stick, left the zone, which is a long way to go in the second period, but that was an alert play, and they got back in the defensive position.
Palat, cross ice, Paquette. At the point, this is Witkowski, floats one in, stop made there by McElhaney. He's able to see it through the traffic in front. Stamkos now. On here for Hedman. Away from Letestu. Bouncing puck. Letestu. Leopold playing his first game since the 3rd of December. Coming in as a replacement tonight, a late scratch for Matt Calvert. Stamkos circles the net. Stamkos drop pass, shot by Hedman. Look at that glove stop there by McElhaney again with traffic in front.
Gotta love that. Confident, upright, grabs that puck. And it appears as though Brian Boyle is off the bench for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we'll keep an eye on that situation as we look at the save. Look at all the Blue Jackets in the middle of the ice. 5 of them. You could throw a blanket over them. They're so close together. Here's the same play. Curtis McElhaney staying with the puck the whole way around.
Boyle was on the giving and receiving end of some hits here earlier on in the second period. But they are, in fact, down a man up front.
And that's causing a couple change in the lines. You'll see this Killorn. Kalupa.
Johansson drops it for Atkinson onto Savard. Cruising in front is Foligno. Gloved by Bishop. That long reach. He's able to glove it. But Foligno camped right there on the doorstep. less than 90 seconds left. Minute 29 in the second period. Jackets are out shooting Tampa 23-19.
Really a good tempo to their game this period. On the attack, had a good power play, some nice opportunities, but you gotta like the decisions with the puck. The heads-up play to make the pass. No hesitation. A couple times, James Wisniewski with those situations.
Jackets have directed 16 shots this period at Ben Bishop. 6 of them on that power play. Their lone power play of the night. Going to the left point, Barberio. On for Kucherov. Rink wide, Hedman had to go off his skate, forcing him all the way back into his own zone. Pressure coming from Hartnell. Barberio, right wing. This is Stamkos. Stamkos across the line. Drops a pass there, less than a minute to go. Hartnell able to knock it away from Kucherov. And the Jackets dump it the far side, all the way back. No icing here. And Barberio to retrieve. Palat left wing. Looks to the right side. Boyle is back and on the right wing.
Saw him use his size there to keep Hartnell away from the puck. Hartnell's going after him here. Hartnell's not going to drop the gloves. Boyle 6'6". You saw him immediately drop the glove there. Hartnell started with a pretty healthy cross-check to Boyle. After Boyle used his size and protected the puck, there's that cross-check. Boyle says, hey, that's one to the face to Hartnell. And now watch this, Boyle's ready. Scott there immediately says, hey, I know you've already got me strung out.
Two minutes each for roughing to both Boyle and Hartnell here in the final minute.
Would have been a tough spot for Scott Hartnell to drop his gloves when Boyle already had his reach. He's got a 4-foot arm. It's got to be 4 feet long. There's no way Scott was going to get a punch on him, so he just said, I'm just going to leave my gloves on. Keep an eye on that situation.
2 each for roughing, 19-28. Final seconds tick off here in period number 2. This is Foligno. Across the line. Garrison takes him to the wall. Fought off there by Foligno. Good work. On to Johansson. He tried to go from backhand to forehand, forcing him out of the zone. Tootin drops it back for Johansson. Chips it off the wall. Hustles after it himself. Killorn able to keep it away, and Jack Johnson finds Tootin looking up the far wall. Johansson can't get to it as the horn goes to end the second period. For the Blue Jackets, 16 shots in period number 2. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, 11. Jackets 23, a 2-period total. Shots for the Lightning 19. One goal that came late in the first, the last minute of the first. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Roush Honda. The best way to say Honda is Roush Honda. And by Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL tickets sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle, right now at NHL.com/ticket exchange. Teams returning to the ice for third period play. A scoreless second. The only goal, if you've joined us late, scored by Connolly in the final minute of the opening period. As a result, we have selected our IGS Energy performers, and they are the two goaltenders here tonight. Both have been sharp.
Oh, have they ever. Saw some big saves at both ends. One got past Curtis McElhinney, but Ben Bishop, boy, he has been stellar in keeping the Blue Jackets, who've had some tremendous opportunities, including 6 shots on the power play. And some of those chances were point-blank opportunities. That big man has kept them in it. But Curtis McElhinney, including an outstanding breakaway save on Ryan Callahan, has kept this game within, well, tight for the Blue Jackets.
How about the PNC game summary, Jody?
Well, there it is. Block shots is one-sided. You look at what we've highlighted there. Blue Jackets have done a good job of managing the puck and getting in the lanes, and that all has to do with forechecking. Todd Richards says when the team is playing well, they are forechecking, and part of that is causing turnovers with speed.
Jackets have certainly played well enough to be leading in this hockey game.
Well, I like what Jack Johnson said in the between period interview with Metzold. Got to play better. Got to turn the heat up more. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. Yeah, Bishop's making the saves, but in order to win the game, they've got to play better.
Stralman steps in front of his own net, throws it up the left wing boards. Here is Stamkos, the Tampa captain. Quick shot, redirected, and right there holding his own is McElhinney. Got bumped, still able to keep it out of the net. Ryan Johansson around the dasher, reaching for it. Stralman, he'll play it in the corner. Jackets get it away, and it's Johansson on to Foligno. Quick stop there by Bishop.
Foligno tried to get to that rebound. Garrison, strong stick not to allow him in there.
Johansson taking advantage of some hustling here. Johansson one-hands it back to Jack Johnson. Jackets storm the front of that Tampa net. Now Foligno will drop it back. Nice move by Johansson. Gets away from Stamkos. Fires a wrist shot. Didn't get enough of it with Stamkos draped all over him. Now Garrison off the bench. Played here by Filppula. Walking back into his own zone. Filppula almost handed it to Atkinson, who reached for it.
That was a good read by Cam Atkinson.
Here's Callahan, the shot off the shoulder of McElhinney. Callahan gets it back. Callahan sweeps it behind the net. David Savard. Savard right wing for Dubinsky, gets away from him. Stepping up here now is Ryan Murray, playing his first game since the 1st of November. Jackets happy to see number 27 back in the lineup. Atkinson can't make a play. Hedman jumps up in the play. Hedman fires, fought off there by McElhinney, and some help there from Murray as Callahan goes crashing into McElhinney and the net.
Yeah, Curtis McElhinney a little shaken up there. Callahan picks himself up. Watch Curtis staring down the puck. Watch Callahan in the middle of the screen. Here he comes. He gets dumped. And really clips McElhinney's leg. Dubinsky's going to go off for interference on Callahan on that play. A little insult to injury there, but it's 2 times recently where Curtis McElhinney's been bumped and had to get up and dust himself off.
Penalty comes at 1:56 of this third period. 2 minutes for interference to Brendan Dubinsky. This will represent the 4th power play for Tampa. They're 0 for 3 with 4 shots. Jackets on the first 2 Tampa power plays had odd man rushes Bishop had to stop one. The other one went off the inside of the goal post, and it was Dubinsky himself in that first period that rattled it off the inside of the iron. Kucherov rims it around the wall. This is Johnson. Johnson on for Connolly, a lone goal scorer in this hockey game. Thrown to the point for Johnson. Garrison lets one fly. It's deflected wide.
Job by Wennberg to get over there and get a stick in that lane. Close that gap really quick.
Tootin, help from Jack Johnson. Thrown between the two men up top. And it's cleared all the way back into Tampa territory. Approaching the 3-minute mark. Dubinsky for interference. Sits off in the penalty box as the Lightning move up ice. Across the line. Strowman into the corner. Drouin played there by Callahan. Filppula up high. Strowman now down low. This is Stamkos. Stamkos pass for Strowman onside. Boy, he had to be shifty to keep that one in.
Yeah, couldn't have been any closer. Strowman on his backhand was able to keep that inside the offensive zone for the Lightning.
Stamkos sitting at 27 goals on the year. Picked up one in that 5-1 win over Detroit. Jackets clear the zone. And this crowd, for the second consecutive power play, get on the Lightning. Not seeing much territorial play. Stamkos with a shot. That's blocked by the Jackets. Steered out of the zone. Race for the puck between Atkinson and Schuster. Picked up by Stamkos, handed to Callahan. Touch pass on to Filppula. Filppula, right wing, battles. 0 for 4 now are the Lightning. 4 shots. They did not register a shot in either the first or fourth power play, and hugging the far post there to make the stop is McElhinney.
After every Blue Jackets game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game. We talk to the players in the dressing room. We talk to Coach Richards. It's on Blue Jackets Live. It's presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas costs. Enroll at IGSenergy.com.
That Tampa Bay power play is always effective. Steven Stamkos is the guy that unloads the one-timer. And that man right there, that's Stamkos. The other guy, Callahan, we just saw on the screen, he's the guy that gets to stand in front of the goaltender as Stamkos unloads that hard shot. And boy, I'll tell you what, you got to be brave to stand there in front of that shot.
Johnson backhands for Kucherov. Tried to chip it ahead. Jackets read that play perfectly. This is Hartnell on the left wing. Hartnell looking to cut in. Wraparound attempt there. Palat will send it out. And a penalty upcoming here. A hooking call. And the Jackets will get their second power play.
Well, good speed by Scott Hartnell. Good patience there. As he keeps his legs going here. Assesses the situation, doesn't like it, doesn't want to throw it off that short side, tries to get it back up front, and he gets hooked on the way around here. See the stick there in the midsection. So good speed, a little frustrated there as he kicks the bench, but that's okay as the Jackets are on the power play.
They had 6 shots in their previous power play.
Yeah, very productive. I thought that was the momentum changer for the Columbus Blue Jackets in that second period, was that power play advantage they had. No goals. But boy, good puck movement, great decisions, and it just followed up from there. As Wisniewski gets called here for a glove hand pass.
Kucherov, the player sitting out the 2-minute hooking call.
And that's something else. Scott Hartnell probably recognized that was a forward in that defensive position, skating backwards. Well, let's test him. Gets him out of his comfort zone and takes that hooking penalty.
Great point. Jack Johnson paired with Wisniewski. Johansson deep in his own zone will take the drop pass and move quickly in and across the line. Throws it to the left point. Atkinson now flips a backhand. Foligno. Johansson is there. To the point for Jack Johnson. Camped in front, Foligno. Shot by Wisniewski. Redirected. Scramble in front. Foligno was dumped right on top of Bishop. Was readjusting his face mask now. None the worse for wear.
Big save there, Jeff, on that Atkinson deflection.
Foligno had some words for the Tampa bench as he made his way back to the Columbus bench. Keep an eye on that. Wisniewski trying to fish that puck free. There's Dubinsky along the wall. Killorn is there. Chopped back by Atkinson to Johansson. Johansson, Dubinsky, Jack Johnson just missing the near side.
Oh, what a sequence of passing. Ryan Johansson with just, at a tough situation, makes a nice little move and makes it look easy to Dubinsky, who then with a heads-up play to Johnson, who just couldn't time that shot a little late, and the puck went wide.
Less than 14 minutes remaining here in the third period. Less than 20 seconds on the power play. This is Connaughton. Savard, the right-handed shot waiting, top of the circle in the left point. It's chopped out of the zone there by Paquette. And that forces the Jackets all the way back into their own zone. Kevin Connaughton. Final seconds. Kucherov standing to the penalty bench and steps out. The Lightning have killed off both power plays, and now Johnson with one man back. Fires a shot that Savard gets a stick on. Bouncing puck. Taken to the corner, alertly so by Connaughton. Backhanded Letestu looking for Hartnell. Kucherov will drop it back for Stralman. Jackets had one shot on the just completed power play. This is Kucherov in the right wing. Kucherov overskates the puck. Anisimov. Wenberg. Wenberg pulls up, drops it back here for Ryan Murray. Bishop on the edge of the blue paint. Jackets send it wide. It was Fedor-Tutin. Letestu dumps behind. In front there for Wenberg. Spins off the check. Wenberg away from Hedman.
He got hooked there. That could have been called easily, too, right on the hands.
Wenberg. Tutin in front, off the goalpost. Tutin had Bishop beat. It went right off the iron on the far side.
Wow, what a heads-up play by Tutin. Almost looked like he feathered a pass in there. Not a lot of power on that shot. But boy, that beat Bishop. Staking his post.
The stoppage in play. Excuse me. Let's check out tonight's AEP power play summary.
And there it is. Once again, all about the penalty kill for both teams. The Jackets. Half the chances, half the power play opportunities, but almost double the shots with 7.
Somebody's lost a glove. Jackets Connaughton ahead there for Johansson, but icing is the call. 12:18 left. In the early moments of the Jacket just completed power play, Jack Johnson moving in off the point. Watch this. He'll send it just wide.
Asiago, thick cut bacon.
Back to live action. Quick shot there by Bishop and held. .12:01 left in the third.
Extra magic on that hockey stick right there. After this game, check out Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1. Randy Moss and Dave Wannstedt give their Super Bowl 49 keys to success and predictions. Tom Arnold hits the red carpet for this year's NFL honors, and full coverage of Adrian Silva's return to UFC 183. That's tonight, Fox Sports 1 on Fox Sports Live.
From the draw, the puck played here by Hartnell. Hartnell into the slot for Dubinsky. It's knocked away. Jackets unable to keep it in. This is Callahan, right wing. Murray defends. Callahan protects that puck along the boards. Sweeps it ahead. Gets some support there from Filppula at the point. The shot towards the net. Save McElhaney. Savard right there to clear it away. Filppula shovels it back. Witkowski. Garrison. Filppula to the point. Witkowski. Up along the right wing. Picked up here by Connolly. Backhanded into the zone deep. Morrow finishing the check there on Jack Johnson. Outlet pass here for Leopold, playing on the fourth line left wing tonight. First action for him since the 3rd of December. Leopold has missed some 18 games.
He looks good out there. He just made a nice little play on the breakout to Mark Letestu. Good little shift in the offensive zone. And now look at him. He's down low. That defenseman instincts He wants to be the player down low. That centerman is usually in that position. But Leopold is very comfortable back there.
All right, got to give him a lot of credit. Tough to come in and not even play your natural position.
Well, he would have conditioned today after practice.
That's right.
That's a hard skate. And he found out at 4 o'clock that, hey, you're playing. So after that hard work that he put in this morning. But he's thrilled to be in the lineup, there's no doubt.
Here's Corey Trop, walks in. Great effort there as he walks by the defenseman, Hedman, and the last line of defense able to stop. Meantime, they go the other way. The save by McElhinney. Rebound, a third attempt there. A shot in the goal.
Well, that's too many rebounds and too many guys skating past the puck. The third attempt, fourth attempt, gets put in by Paquette. He's just coming off a hat trick, as you mentioned, last game against the Detroit Red Wings. Corey Trop, what a play by him in the offensive zone. Shake and bake with speed, cuts to the middle, couldn't pull the trigger. And now here comes Tampa back the other way with speed. And that's one shot, two shots, three keeps it alive. Just couldn't reel it in. Columbus has done a fantastic job in front of McElhinney tonight, all night long, clearing that space. But right there, the third wave at the net puts it in there.
Cedric Paquette with his 5th goal in the last 3 games, his 10th of the season. And all that Steve Yzerman, the general manager, had to do was tell him he was staying, Jody, with the Lightning for the rest of the year and get an apartment.
I think that was on his mind.
5 goals, 5 of his 10 goals have come in the last 3 games. All since being told to get out of the hotel.
There you go.
Kucherov, far side. Johansson, or Johnson, excuse me, onto Kucherov. That's off the heel of the stick. Savard, off the wall. Reaching for it there was Atkinson.
Columbus needs a response now, Jeff. Take the momentum back.
Drouin and Killorn draw the assists on the goal by Paquette. Puck rifled wide of the net by Witkowski. Garrison purposely sends it wide. Thrown in front and a sparkling stop there from point-blank range by McElhinney. Up high right now, it's all Tampa. Johnson with an attempt that sails back to the point. Jackets on their heels here.
They've been out there a while, this line. Foligno, Johansson, and Atkinson. You see Foligno here managing the puck. They want to get the puck in the right place, get it down the ice, and get off.
Jackets can't clear. Filppula comes and scores. From the right circle, Filppula beats McElhinney, far side. 3-0.
And that's a defensive error. David Savard has the puck on his stick. He's got to make a tape-to-tape pass. Instead, he puts it behind Nick Foligno. Right here. Tired. He's tired. He's been out there a while. Nick Foligno's been out there a while. Ryan Johansson's been out there a while. It goes off the back. Skate of Foligno. And Filppula makes no mistake catching that line out there for a while. And that's what happens. Can't execute those plays. They'll usually end up at the back of your net.
Filppula's 10th. A pair of goals, a minute 41 seconds apart here in the third. And the Lightning lead 3-0. Ben Bishop with our Big Lots Big Play. We talked earlier of the one going off the post, shorthanded. How about this one? Again, a shorthanded attempt, Jody.
And that's a lot of bigs by you, Jeff. And how about Letestu? He's got 5 goals in 19 games, and this is a beautiful opportunity by him. But the big man with the big play stacks the pads there.
For our Big Lots Big Play. And now a bigger effort needed by the Jackets, who trail by 3 here with 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and we saw some great things from the Columbus Blue Jackets so far tonight. Opportunities, a couple posts. Big saves by Bishop. They've got to get down to the offensive zone now, Jeff. Under 8 minutes left in the third period.
Callahan throws it into the slot. Stamkos can't play it. Schuster able to keep it in. Barberio with a shot. That's deflected just wide. Callahan knocked down there by Fedor-Tut. Schuster backhands it to Filppula. Filppula trying to feed Stamkos. Jackets break it up. Callahan's got to let it go. Trop had it knocked off his stick. Hartnell pitchforks a backhand right in on Bishop. Boyle down the right wing to center. Sends it away off the wall into the corner there for Morrow. Brendan Morrow. Witkowski unable to keep it in at the right point. It goes all the way back into Tampa territory. Less than 7 minutes left. Kevin Connauton will hustle back into his own zone. He's paired here right now with Leopold, who primarily has been a forward tonight, has taken a couple of shifts on the blue line. But playing right now up front. Battles along the boards. Right wing Johnson. Ahead here for Palat. Again, this line, 3 of the top 4 plus-minus players in the league. And McElhinney forced to make another stop from point-blank range. Stralman rips it wide. That's Hedman with it. Far side, Johnson. Johnson lets it go. Stralman will step up into the corner. Centering a pass for Palat off his shoulder. Wisniewski can't make the play, but McElhinney does with a terrific glove save.
Talk about Jordan Leopold playing fourth line. He's a forward tonight. But watch him in defensive. Number 3. He's down low. He's a forward. Comes in and separates the puck from the man. And that little poke check right there gives it to the support position to Letestu. Good heads-up play by Jordan Leopold. You mentioned he's up on forward. He's covering for the defenseman. I love to see him in the defensive zone. He's been very effective tonight on the ice.
Boy, I'll tell you what. For a guy who hasn't played since the 3rd of December, give him full marks. He has been a solid member of this hockey club tonight. Shots here in the 3rd. The Lightning have really taken charge. 15 of 20 off the sticks of Lightning players here in the 3rd, Jody.
Yeah, they're feeling it here in the 3rd period. You could sense it. The Jackets with a good push to start, but that one goal off the 3rd rebound was just too much for the Jackets.
The Lightning, as we mentioned from the outside of the telecast, have won 9 straight at home. That's a franchise record. They lead the league in home victories with 20. Only 4 defeats, one of them to the Blue Jackets in the last meeting here. Columbus won that one 3-1.
And how about this crowd? I mean, this is a 75-degree day in Tampa. There's a huge Gasparilla kind of, I don't know, it's a party or celebration going on. And I don't know if it's sold out here tonight, but boy, I'll tell you what, it's pretty close. Loyal hockey fans down in Tampa, Florida.
We pan the Blue Jackets bench. Columbus certainly in control through the first 40 minutes, but the Lightning have come out here in the 3rd. The Jackets get an opportunity to redeem themselves Tuesday night at home at Nationwide as they play host to the Arizona Coyotes. Ekman Larsson, goaltender Mike Smith, Antoine Vermette.
Tough loss today. That got shocked.
7-2 in Ottawa.
Yeah, that was something. Ottawa scored 4 goals in under just over 5 minutes.
I think they play Montreal tomorrow before coming to Columbus. And they'll be looking to make amends. Puck turned over, stepping in Stamkos, and he rips it high and out of play.
And that was just, Tut was trying to connect the pass with Dubinsky, bounced over his stick, and I'll tell you, that guy right there, Stamkos, usually takes full advantage of any opportunities. He's had a couple tonight. A couple have missed the net. He doesn't look too happy with that last one.
He's had a snarl going most of the night. Jack has done a pretty good job against him.
Yeah, they have. You're right.
Right wing, Atkinson. Dumped into the corner, Hedman defense. That's one big boy on the blue line. A talented offensive defenseman, former #1 overall pick. Shot there by Connauton, gets through to Bishop. Jackets have goaltender McElhinney out for the extra attacker. Connauton Tosses it behind the net. Atkinson can't make the play. Atkinson will try again. Dishes to Connauton. Drilled. Off Bishop.
That was a good hard shot. Came off hard, too, off that glove.
Lightning able to clear. Connauton hustles. Kucherov first on the forecheck. Again, the net is empty. 6 skaters on for the Jackets. James Wisniewski in the corner. Less than 4 minutes left here. A 3-goal deficit. Oh, boy. Dubinsky was held up. He will certainly lobby for that one there. The Lightning defender got an arm around him. No penalty call.
Yeah, kind of slowed him down with that arm, too, because he was going for the puck. Good job by Dubinsky to win the battle in the corner.
Murray, cross ice, Savard. Up high, Johansson shoots and scores. Jackets pull the goaltender. And pulling the trigger there is Johansson for his team-leading 19th of the year.
Ryan Johansson here, he lets the puck go. Ryan Murray makes the pass. But Ryan Johansson is aware that there's a player behind him. Lets the puck go and turns around, sets up for the one-timer. Watch this. The puck just passed Ryan Johansson. Now he sets up. He's on his forehand. And he does it. Just a quick little wind-up, and that's what fools Ben Bishop. Watch the wind-up by Ryan Johansson. Here's Ryan Murray. Passes it over past Johansson. Savard sets up Johansson with a one-timer. No wind-up at all. And that, with some traffic in front, is why that puck fooled Ben Bishop.
So, the Jackets have McElhinney again racing from the net. A little more than 3 minutes remain.
Columbus here. It's been a good last minute has been good.
Yeah. Most of the game has been good, but it was the lapse.
I agree. And how about, but let's talk about that Dubinsky non-call.
Yep.
And Dubinsky just kept going, went in and won the puck battle on the far wall, and that's what created that play to the top with Murray and Ryan Johansson and David Savard. And then Columbus has been so good, and people ask, why are they so good on the power play? It's
wraparound attempt. Bishop down in the blue paint. Had to make a stop. Puck rolling on end. It'll go wide of the net, but there'll be no icing.
Jackets do a good job at retrieving pucks on the power play. And you can see in this situation where they have 6 skaters and some desperation, they finally beat Ben Bishop.
Oh, in full stride. This is Dubinsky. And a penalty's upcoming. This time they call the penalty. A hooking call as Dubinsky's hauled down. They didn't the previous time, but the Jackets are going to go on the power play, make things awfully interesting here for the final 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Absolutely, and this is good speed, good awareness by Brandon Dubinsky, and second effort. There he is, a similar spot where there was non-call. See him kind of put the elbow into Stralman as he's going into him. Stralman gets the stick up. Looks like a timeout called by Todd Richards and his staff, and they're going to explain what they want here. He's going to, and they practice this, they know the situation, but they want to review what they have here.
All rights of this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of the broadcast without the express written consent of the Columbus Blue Jackets is expressly prohibited.
And there's the opposition assistant coach, longtime coach, Rick Bowness, who's telling them pretty much to keep it simple, get it out.
On that Johansson goal, incidentally, David Savard, obviously, he made the pass there to Johansson, picks up the primary assist. So far, they've not given Ryan Murray an assist, but he should get an assist as well. He was the one that dished the puck to Savard.
Yeah, no question.
And we're getting that word now that they have added that assist. So Murray will pick up his first point of the season, this in his first game since the 1st of November. Played only 4 games previously, all season long. Jack Johnson, Jackets on the power play. Foligno looking for his 19th of the year. Johansson, stick breaks. Wenberg in the corner, tosses it back for Wisniewski, walks the line. Traffic in front of Bishop. Johansson's got a new stick.
You see Wisniewski peek there. He knew Johansson was coming back from the bench, waited for him, and got him the puck.
Right across the goal mouth. Ben Bishop's lost his goal stick. He'll retrieve it as the Lightning send it back to neutral ice.
Sorry, Wisniewski was looking. He was going to shoot the puck. Saw the empty net, but the Jackets hadn't cleared yet.
Jack Johnson. Johansson in for Atkinson. Less than 2 minutes left. On the power play, a little more than one. Wisniewski, nice save at the line, but Hedman will step up. Jackets dump it back in on the Hedman clear. Johansson rips it far side for Foligno. Hartnell's on the ice now. Atkinson can't get a stick on it. Wisniewski unable to save it at the line, but gets it quickly to Jack Johnson. Steps in offside the call. Jackets unable to clear.
And Nick Foligno tried to get out there. Jack Johnson disagrees with that call. Good urgency here by the Columbus Blue Jackets. There's a minute 30 left in the third period. 46 left in the penalty. You can see that on the screen. Dubinsky's ready to take the face-off here. And this is a situation now where Ryan Johansson's going to stay out there. He's been out there for a long time, but he'll play as that extra forward, so you'll see him. Really, a lot of the play, Jeff, will go through him.
From the face-off. Hartnell chops it into the zone. Bishop turns it over, but the Jackets unable to play it, and Garrison sends it the length of the ice right off the goalpost. Ben Bishop with a terrible turnover, but the Jackets can't capitalize. This one to the far side. Hedman to play it. And it's cleared once more down the ice. Less than a minute to go. Moving up ice, Connaughton. Hartnell. Loose puck picked up there by Boyle, and he'll chip it off the wall and back deep into Jackets territory.
Columbus having a tough time here. They're a little out of sync and setting up in the offensive zone.
Foligno dumps in, fights off and spins off the check there of Stralman. Atkinson below the goal line. Jackets did not register a shot on goal on this completed power play. Meantime, the Lightning just trying to kill the clock here. Far side, Jack Johnson. Thrown down by Boyle. Up high on to Wisniewski. Wisniewski with a shot. That's blocked by Garrison. Final seconds, down to 8. At the point, Wisniewski. This time he'll let one fly. The save made by Bishop. 3.8 seconds left.
Jack Johnson's had enough. He's frustrated, taking it out on Paquette down there. He's been a monster all night long. Playing hard, played the offside tonight as a left-handed shot playing the right wing, and he comes into this scrum with a purpose.
The officials are converging here now. A bit of a
look at this play
huddle
by Ben Bishop. Sorry, Jeff. Behind the net. Dubinsky went down there with the puck, too, and Ryan Johansson picked it off. He tried to get it back out. Was hoping someone was there in front of the net.
A roughing minor has been assessed. They did not catch who the penalty is against.
That would be Jack Johnson has gone to the room.
Well, Boyle has gone as well.
There goes Boyle, yeah.
So coincidental. Well, wait a second here. Tampa's got an extra player on. And now Morrow being ushered off. Tropic come on for the Jackets. And that'll do it. The Lightning continue a franchise record home winning streak. They extend it tonight to 10 at the expense of the Blue Jackets. And give Ben Bishop a lot of credit for this victory here tonight.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, he made some outstanding saves. It was brilliant. They finally got one past him, but just a little too late.
Too little, too late.